Hello, Augies Worldwide. I'm Dave Casler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another episode of Ask Dave. This one is from Noel, W4NRI, or Noel, or however else that is pronounced. I think most people by that name go by Noel. He says, I hope you're doing well. I have a problem that maybe you have an idea as to how to go about solving it. My QTH is up in the attic. There is enough room there for me to have, quote, fun. The problem is that there is no window that opens. There is a half-circle vertical skylight that brings some light into the room. It can't be opened. The choices that I have to bring the coax from that antenna outside are not good. 1. Somehow poke a hole around the window frame. 2. Roof penetration. You don't want to do that. 3. Install the coax by routing it through the basement up to the attic. And 4, something like the Larson glass mount antenna that works just on 2 meters and 70 centimeters. Well, Noel is an amateur extra class ham, so he wants to operate on all kinds of bands. Now, I took a look on Google Maps to see what we were dealing with. He's in a building that has a small attic room, and it's just absolutely covered with trees everywhere. So he's got lots of things to hook antennas to. Now I'm going to take his option number 3, which will take more coax, but will be safer and probably less noisy. And that is this. Go put in a ground rod, an 8-foot ground rod, somewhere around the house. You will be eventually bonding it to your utility ground, so your electric utility ground, so it doesn't need to be dreadfully far away from that. But bring all your antenna wires, and of course, no ham is ever satisfied with just one antenna. Bring all your antenna wires to the ground rod. At the ground rod, you put a lightning surge protector, and this part is screwed on, clamped, whatever, really well to your ground rod, okay? So you bring that to here, and then out the other side, by the way, this can go either way. Out the other side here, you connect a coax to this, and that's where you go into the house, okay? After you've gone through the lightning surge protector, and then route that wire up to your station up there. I know a lot of people have thought for a lot of years, oh, hams, put them in the attic because, oh, they can just do their antennas real quickly. Well, when you have to ground things, it's actually easier to put the station in the basement where you're not at all far from the ground. But, you know, if the attic is the room you have for it, we'll make it work. So you put your ground rod lightning surge protector and then inside the house route it up to the top. Now, are you going to have problems with RFI in this installation because you have such long pieces of coax? Potentially. But remember, at the ground rod, the outside of the coax is truly grounded. Now, what happens inside this magic little device, if there is a large surge, like a wind buildup of static on your antenna, it'll go over the spark gap in here and run that energy off to ground so it doesn't get into your radio. Now, you will want to put in your radio a central point ground, usually a piece of pipe maybe this long, and all the ground rods from your rig, from your tuner, from everything go to that, or hose clamped on, or you can get specialty clamps or whatever you want. I like hose clamps. They're stainless steel, so you can put them in there without expecting a lot of corrosion, especially since it'll be inside the house. Now, I know where you live it gets humid, so that will be a bit of an issue. Now, given that it does get warm where you live, you're probably eventually going to want to put a little air conditioner in there like I have right up here on the wall. This air conditioner is for this room only because it gets so doggone hot in here in the summer. And they work really well, and they are silent. You can get these at Home Depot for about $1,000, and I would have a real, if you're not a real handyman, have a handyman assist you in putting it in. Okay, you can plug it in pretty much to a regular outlet, or you can run 220 to it. Okay, so what we have done is we've got your antenna wires up into the room where you can connect them to the rig and so on. You've got separate ground that will also run down to the basement and out and be attached to the ground rod. Okay, what you never want to do is run an actual bonding wire under or inside the house. Those all stay outside. So you're going to run a number 6 stranded or thicker wire from your station ground outside to your electrical ground. Some of the older houses only have 4-foot grounds. If that's the case, I'd go ahead and replace it with an 8-foot. If you have qualms about doing this, have an electrician do it for you. Sometimes when I've had to do things, I'm getting up there in years, it's a little hard for me to do myself things that I would never consider having someone else do 20 years ago. So it's just part of getting older, is having enough humility to ask for help and being willing to pay for it if needed. So I think that will get you in good stead. You may have to play games with the lengths of the wires. I would route all the radio associated wires together, keep them away from the computer wiring. Okay, now there's going to have to be a connection, if you're going to do FT8, between your radio and the computer. That's done by USB. Get a shielded one and you will have no trouble at all. USB is actually a balanced connection, and so because it's balanced, there's no grounding on either side of that connection. So you can do balanced out of the computer to balanced into your radio or your signal link USB or something like that. Now, I know this is a little bit more trouble, but I think in the long run, you'll be a lot happier with that. So good luck. You've got an extra antenna. Man, get yourself a nice antenna. You've got all those trees. Find out about how far up the tree goes without moving very much in the wind. You can attach antennas there. Otherwise, you need to do the pulley and the bungee cord thing. So good luck, Noel. W4NRI. This is Dave, KE0OG 73.